What are you doing here?
You kidding me, man? We've been off getting prepared for the Christmas party with Madman. What have you been doing this whole time?
Today's Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can invite us in?
Sure, let's come in and do the exchange of gifts.
Now that we're done with that, let's play Crash of the Titans on the Wii!
No!
Wake up!
What happened?
Bro, I know, Ian asked you to play Crash of the Titans, then he went ballistic.
Did you say Crash of the Titans?
It's okay, we can just play another game.
It's okay, Brock, we can just play another one. How about Crash Bash for the PS1?
No! I hate Crash Bash!
Bro, you need to stop.
Yeah, you only seem to like the Insane Trilogy and Crash Team Racing.
Only the PS4 versions, of course.
Hey Ian, Madge, I thought this party would be fun. Let's get out of here, bros. Bro, I barely even know who Dash Bandicoot is, but I still know you suck. Come on, Ian Hayden, let's get out of here.
Guys! No, don't leave! Come back! No, I'll change, I promise I won't, probably not, but still come back! No!
Who are you?
Greetings, my child of the light. I have heard your prayers and concerns. You are the one they refer to as Brock, are you not?
Yes, I am.
I shall bring you salvation.
But why are you here?
Well, my job description says that I'm here to right your wrongs and make you return to the world a better man. So, we'll do that, yeah.
What?
Look, man, just tell me why you hate like 80% of Crash games.
Oh, that's easy. It all started out on the original PlayStation with Crash Bandicoot.
Get on with it, man.
Okay. In the early 90s, Sony and Nintendo were planning on making a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. Once Nintendo and Sony could not agree, Sony went on and left. And out of spite, they made the most successful video game console in the world at that point in time. The PS2 beat it. Like, the PS2 is the best selling console of all time. So Nintendo did not. They screwed up. The PlayStation, or PS1 for short, was the first 3D centered home console. 3DO doesn't count. And it has games like Tomb Raider, Gran Turismo, and Ape Escape. And it was hidden big. If you were gonna get any console in 1995, it would be a PlayStation. But it was missing something that Nintendo and Sega had. And this was a mascot. That's where Naughty Dog comes in. In 1993, a small game developer called Naughty Dog was founded by Jason Rubin, and Andy Gavin. They made a 3D fighting game on the 3DO. This game was called Way of the Warrior and was a cheap ripoff of the more popular game Mortal Kombat. Even though it was a cheap ripoff of Mortal Kombat, it somehow impressed the former head of business development at Universal Interactive Entertainment. Universal Interactive published the game and had Naughty Dog sign on to 3 more games. Wonder what those games will be. After Naughty Dog moved to California, on the way there, they were thinking of what this game would be. They had lots of 2D side-scrollers about time traveling, scientists, and dinosaurs. They scrapped this idea later down the line for a new technically impressive 3D platformer where you can move forwards and backwards along with left and right. They named this game the Sonic game, and it was praised by Mark Cerny. Ever heard of him? Now we get to Sony around the time they were making this. Sony made the Sony Computer Entertainment division to do video game stuff. Naughty Dog was like, what if Nintendo has like Mario and Sega has Sonic? What if Sony has our game as mascot thingy and decided to partner with Sony Entertainment to make this new game? By this time in development, the game had all the 2D and 3D levels figured out. The final thing they had to do was come up with a character. They wanted their character to be unique and feel original and decided on 3 animals from the Australian outback. They came up with Potoro, a Bandicoot, and a Wombat. They decided on Bandicoot, but called him Willy the Wombat as a placeholder name, which is kind of funny. The character was orange with blue pants and brown spots along his back. He had a mohawk and dark red shoes. They then added breakable objects throughout the levels to make the game feel more grand and for the players to explore more. Because of this new gameplay loop, they changed his name to Crash Bandicoot. They also changed his intellect. According to the Crash Bandicoot files, in the original version of the story, Cortex is trying to make an army of, quote, uber wombats. He then puts Crash into the Cortex vortex, which overloads him with info from TVs and movies around the time, making him basically insane. Cortex, angry, sends Willy to Insanity Beach, and Willy angry at Cortex because he's gonna turn his girlfriend Carmen, later Tana, into the new brainwashed general, goes to find her and get her back. The story in the end stays much of the same, but instead of having him overloaded with info, he's just kind of stupid. And instead of making another male Bandicoot the general, he makes Tana. The final game came out in 1996 with a lot of praise, and it makes sense. With its fun gameplay and lovable characters, no wonder it succeeded so well. At the same time, there were a variety of commercials starring Crash, where he heckles the competition and even goes to Nintendo of America to advertise the PlayStation. The game has 2D side-scroller levels, much like Mario and Sonic, but there is also 3D levels where you have 360 degrees of movement. Even though you have a linear path you must follow to get to the end of the level and the camera's face. Along the way, there are crates which you can be spun or jumped onto to get 1-ups, Tana coins, other character coins, or Wumpa fruits, which are the main collectibles in the game. If you get 100 of said Wumpa fruits, you can get another life. Tana coins, or Tana tokens, are throughout the level, and if you get all of them in said level, you can go to a bounds round, or bonus round if you're lame, where you can get more crates and more gems. There are also power-ups in the form of tiki masks named Aku Aku, that if gotten, you can get more hit points and time invincibility. The game reviewed well, but was knocked for being too hard and was compared to Super Mario 64, which in comparison was much easier. Come on, reviewers, isn't challenge good? Because of their deal with Universal Interactive, they had to make at least 2 more games, and these games were probably going to be Crash Bandicoot games. In fact, they were. The second game was released the following year, and had fixed upon all the problems that the first game had. This caused the game to be a lot more enjoyable, and it ages much better. In fact, this is my favorite Crash Bandicoot game. A part of the reason why it ages so much better is, first, because of the absence of Tana Bandicoot, who is Crash's love interest, if you don't remember her when I mentioned her like 2 minutes ago. Tana Bandicoot was replaced with the more age-appropriate Coco Bandicoot, who is Crash's nerdy little sister. I really don't know what they were thinking about when making original Tana, or what they were on, because they were on something when making original Tana, but it's a good thing she's gone. One of my personal favorite things about Crash 2 is it starts immediately after the first game, with Dr. Neo Cortex falling from the sky and discovering crystals. He then kidnaps Crash Bandicoot, who was on the search for a battery for his sister, which makes you think, where was Crash going to find a laptop battery in the middle of the f***ing jungle? Also, why couldn't Coco do it herself? Well, then Cortex sends him back to the warp room and tricks him into thinking that Cortex equal good and Crash believe him. Crash is stupid in this game. The game now is mostly combo levels of both 2D and 3D segments, which have clever transitions to hide the change. Another addition they made was Nitro Crates, which is a crate that if ran into or jumped on will explode and kill you instantly. There is now a pause screen with more info than the first game, which tells you things like how many gems you have, or the level name, which is very important information. That brings us to Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which is the last game in the original trilogy on PS1. A lot of people say this game's the best one in the trilogy. Well, it's good, but I like the second one more. I don't like the vehicle stages. Oh, spoilers! The story takes place right after Crash 2, with a space station-like thing falling down onto a temple which contains Uka Uka, who is Aku Aku's evil brother. He's then like, Cortex, you suck ass, no good job, and he takes over. He's the main villain in this game. This game is a lot like 2, but now you can play Coco Bandicoot for the first time, and new vehicle levels. And there is a time trial mode where you can try to beat levels as fast as possible to get more rewards and stuff to like 100% the game if you're that type of guy. The game reviewed extremely well and was a great end to the original Naughty Dog trilogy. But there's another Naughty Dog game on PS1. We already made a video on Crash Kart Racers. You should watch that after this. So instead of rewriting it again, here's just a snippet from said video. Crash Team Racing for the PlayStation 1 was the first Crash Bandicoot racing game, and it started the trend of Crash Bandicoot racing games that continues a long time after its release. Crash Team Racing was released in 1999, and the story of the game goes as follows. Crash, his friends, his enemies all plan to enter a kart racing tournament and are preparing to enter it when suddenly a spaceman with a helmet shaped like a fat watermelon and an elephant trunk that has a mouth on it gem cups the challengers go from back to the oxide. They both race each other, travels to Earth and challenge Earthlings to racing challenge. He proclaims himself to be the fastest racer in the galaxy and gives the Earthlings a challenge to wow, this script's kind of messed up. Anyways, to play the game, he calls survival the fastest. The rules of the game are simple. If he wins, the whole Earth is turned into a concrete parking lot. And, then he kind of just goes down to the surface of Earth and waits for someone to challenge him. Everyone who was going to do the racing tournament originally is getting ready, except Crash, who just passed out. The game needs you to collect all 16 trophies, 4 at a time, then face off against Ripperoo, Papu Papu, Komodo Joe, and Pinstripe Totoro. After beating them, you get a boss key from each of them. After getting all 4, Oxide is finally willing to race against Earth's challenger for the fate of the world. They win, but he's decided to be a sour loser and refuses to leave until the challenger collects all the relics and race him again, which sucks. After collecting all 20 CTR tokens and winning, when What's-His-Face wins, Oxide promises to leave and never come back. The world is saved. Hooray! The gameplay is a lot like other kart racing games from the time, like Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 16. Mostly Mario Kart. You choose a character they gotta compete against and the other racers on many interesting and fun racetracks. And during the race, you can get power-ups that either help you or hurt your opponents. This game does have some features that help it stand out from other racing games. There are Wumpa Fruit mechanics where the more fruit crates you break, the faster your kart goes. And if you collect 10 Wumpa Fruits, you get juiced up, making their effect even more powerful, like the coins and whatnot. There are also very important mechanic called the power slide that I cannot figure out for the life of me. It apparently gives you a speed boost if executed correctly, but you can also get a speed boost by getting a hang time or jumping over gaps in the track. There are 5 different racing modes, which are the adventure mode, the time trial, the arcade mode, the versus mode, and the battle mode. I already pretty much explained most of the adventure mode, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of its single player mode. You choose one of 8 starting racers who are Crash, Dr. Neo Cortex, Tiny the Tiger, Coco, Dr. Engine, Dingo Dial, Polar, Purra, and Purra. Depending on whether the character is a hero or a villain in the normal Crash games, you are tutored by either Aku Aku or Uka Uka. They are then dropped at Insanity Beach, which serves as the starting area, and the rest of the story plays out from there. I forgot to mention it earlier, but winning the gem cups unlock the bosses as playable characters, which is pretty rad. I'm a fan of Ripper Roo, so I usually main him. But next up is the time trial mode. It is a single player mode where you can try to get the best time in a race if you get good enough time. You can challenge in trophies ghosts, which is the most confusing way to refer to this. After you beat in trophy, you can get the challenge in Oxide Ghosts. Then, when you beat all of the Oxide's ghosts, you can unlock the Naughty Dog scrapbook in the main menu. The arcade mode lets you quickly race on a skeleton of the tracks against a selection of opponents up to 2 players. You can race on either one singular racetrack, or you can race in a racing cup that has players race over 4 tracks for the highest total score. There are 4 cups: the Wumpa Cup, the Crystal Cup, the Nitro Cup, and the Crash Cup. There are 3 difficulties for every cup. Easy is available from the start, and you unlock the other difficulties by competing in all 4 cups. In the last difficulty, Versus mode is basically just a multiplayer racing mode. Finally, Battle mode is a multiplayer mode instead of an arena. You can have teams or have a free-for-all match. You win by either killing all of the other racers until their lives are at 0, reaching a specific score first, or getting the most points before the match ends. There are a ton of power-ups that I don't have time to explain, so I'm just going to talk about how the public responded to it. It was very well received, and while it was noted by some the graphics were not too complex, they said that the cartoony look and ingenious use of textures and colors were a high point in the graphics department. The only part of the game that critics had mixed opinions on was the audio. I personally love the music in Crash Team Racing, but this one guy said that they really hated it, and it was not necessarily great, and you will either stop hearing it, or the instant of simply hearing it, it will make you want to cry or pull your hair out. I don't like that guy. Overall, CRT is an innovative and fun game. The Crash games that came after Crash Team Racing started showing a trend of getting the newer they get. When I say that, I mean as a Crash game, not as an overall game. A lot of them are decent games, but as Crash games, they're not good. Open World and Crash do not fit well together. The GBA games are pretty good. Crash of the Titans is a good game. Well, kind of, if you like hash and slashes. But It's not anything like your average Crash Bandicoot game. In fact, if you spin, you like get dizzy after that. Even though that's like what Crash does. So most Crash fans do not think of it very highly. Over the years, Crash started to fade away until the Insane Trilogy on PS1, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, which was a remake of the original trilogy with added improvements and 4K graphics on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. In 2019, CRT got a remake with bonus content and updated visuals, which brings us to Crash 4 and Crash Team Rumble. The new Crash 4 game is a return to form for the series. I still prefer the Insane Trilogy over it, but it's still leaps and bounds better than the PS2 games. And with the up-and-coming Crash Team Rumble, the series is finally getting the love and attention it deserves. Oh yeah, why do I hate 80% of all Crash games? I don't know, it's to drive the plot forward. Oh, that was pretty meta.
Oh man, that was great. Now it's time for you to take a test.
What test? I forgot to study.
Oh dude, don't worry, it's not that kind of test. Here, let me show you. Welcome to my home, Wumpa Islands.
Cool, but where's this test thing?
Well, I'm gonna strap you to a wild hog, and then slap it. Your job is to maneuver said hog, and make sure not to hit anything.
Wait, but Crash, what happens if I, crash?
No worries, you're just gonna die in a painful explosion. But that means you get to spend time with my dad.
Hiya there, boys.
Really sorry, Crash. Seems like fun and all, but I think I'd rather be alone.
Oh, no. You cannot escape my challenge. You either take it, or I send you to Doom's Hell, where I have to spend all of eternity with 1996 Tom design.
Anything but that. I'll do your stupid game.
That's what I thought.
Here goes nothing.
You actually did it. Well, guess we gotta go find your friends now.
Wow, you guys, I never should have not played Crash of the Titans.
It's okay, Brock. We all sometimes have our own total jack friends.
Yeah, Brock, thanks for the change of heart.
I could not have done it without the ghost of Crashman.
Brock, that's about the jacks.
Yeah, Brock, you must have been really lonely.
By the way, where did Magic Man go?
Oh, he's out there on the street yelling at some kids. I think he's throwing gasoline at one of them.
Sounds like something he would do.
It sucks to be them.
Oh well, let's play some good old-fashioned Crash of the Titans on the Nintendo Wii.
Let's.